Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dashcoin Research Podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas Wenzel. Today I have Rainey. He is the dev and founder of Copy, the Believe token that is powering a AI DeFi tool for traders. Rainey, it's good to have you here.
Yo, what's up? Good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about how your tool came to be. Like what inspired you to make that? And then tell us a bit about the features that it has.
The mess that we call the trenches inspired me to make it because I feel like there's just too much noise, The signal to noise ratio in the trenches sucks right now. And we have copies and copies and copies of the same tool, ironically. So I made these tools to basically help me to sift through the noise and to be able to trade at a higher level, just by like making these AI training wheels in the form of like Chrome extensions. So one thing that I wanted to make was a bond predictor because very few tokens bond each day, like 1.5% of pump fund tokens actually migrate. So I created my own predictive model to help me predict which ones will. So it's like, that's one way to filter through the noise and get the signal that I want. Another way as a copy trader, I see like immense promise in copy trading, and that's obviously how this whole project started with copy. But I had made this tool called Petrichor a while back because copy trading is extremely hard if you don't have any like eyes on the asset, which would be just like visual charts, ads, all sorts of things. Most people copy trade with like a Telegram app, and it's not very visual, and you just get this shitty P&L card back that says negative 200% or like plus 5,000%, or you know what I'm saying? Like anything. And you're always like confused as to, or at least I was confused as to what the fuck was going on. So I built my own tool to basically hijack Axiom's interface, hijack Photon's interface, use their wallet tracker, and copy trade from there. And then just automatically load up a new tab with my trade. And then it can sell on top of that for you and track the P&L, and it clicks on all the same stuff that you'd click on as a human in Photon's interface, but automated.
So it's a similar UX, or no, it's a better UX than the existing copy trading tools. Is that the main like difference, is the UX side of it? Or is it also like a functionality and execution difference?
Yeah, so the UX leads to a better functionality and execution experience. It's kind of like you get to, with our extensions, you get to use like the speed and the user interface that Photon provides you, that Axiom provides you, that you're already used to basically. But the extension is just like a little bit of extra sauce so that you can like further finesse your copy trading skills and have a far better experience than just using their wallet trackers alone or using just like a Telegram bot. So it's like the ease and simplicity of like Telegram bots being automated, but then like also not having to change UIs from Photon to Axiom. But obviously that's changing now because like we're making our own AI trading terminal. So it's like from the ground up, you'll see a meme scope that's just built with AI at its heart. And hopefully we don't have to shift around like too many elements of the UI that you're already used to with Cosmo from Nova, Axiom's Pulse, and Photon's meme scope. Hopefully you just feel right at home and you can just hop in and do your thing and trench with AI.
I love it. There's Asset Dash's Moby. That's like an AI. It gives interesting info on tokens. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, I am.
What do you like about it, and what do you like not like about it, and or maybe how do you see that? If you could relate that to your project somehow, what do you think the overlap is, or what are you trying to do differently?
Well, I think they have like an emphasis on whale tracking, right? Obviously, Moby, it's in the name, and their token is hashtag Moby. I like how they're trying to fuck up the DEX screener flow a little bit with DEX Boost, but their own version of it. If you hold Moby, I was actually going to do that yesterday, but it's not live yet. I like it. I think it's a great tool for their section of the industry, which is largely dependent on like whale tracking and whale watching. But ours is something completely different. Ours is just like, how do you have like an AI co-pilot that's co-piloting this crazy spaceship with you that is Memescope. And it's just like going straight from, we're not watching other humans necessarily. We're using AI to watch tokens on chain and see how they act and try to predict their behavior in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you used your tool much to actually conduct trades?
I have. So it's like it's a shitload of coding and a shitload of testing, shitload of patching bugs. But what I've seen from like the Rainmaker tool, um, for instance, which I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it basically just monitors Memescope, and I trained it on tons and tons of data for hours from Memescope to basically predict which tokens will graduate. It's not 100% fucking perfect, but it gives me a way better chance to see stuff and tokens that are far more likely to succeed by showing me less tokens. And I think there's a casino mentality with like Memescope and Axiom, Pulse, and just trenching in general. Like you can't look at new pairs without seeing 1,000 new pairs. So like the whole philosophy here with our tools is to how do we take a step back, show you less, and offer you more value instead of showing you more just so that we can get your transaction fees because we don't give a shit whether you have a successful trade or not. It's like that's not our mentality, but I feel like that's the mentality of major platforms.
Yeah, I love that approach because it is really overwhelming, especially for non-trenchers. Someone who might want like to participate in really early stage stuff, but not be as degen as like the traditional pump fund user. I think I would kind of fit in that category. I like to go quite in the trenches, but like I don't buy non-graduated pump fund tokens because I just like have no idea what I'm doing to pick the right ones. So a tool like yours, might make me more inclined to actually try my hand at buying early stage stuff. Do you have any idea of like success rates of your like things that your tool recommends to buy, or things that your thing will tokens that your tool will predict will graduate? Do you know what the success rate is? Is it like 20%? Is it 80%?
So that's part of what I'm trying to gather in terms of data for just like hard stats on how much more effective our tool is versus just regularly using regular filters with Memescope. Personally, I feel like it's like 5 to 10 times more likely that you'll see a token that will migrate versus the 1.5% chance you have just looking at regular filters with Memescope. Obviously, I can't back that up without hard data, and that's what I look forward to being able to provide. But just like the tool itself, using it a lot myself before I even realized maybe I should release this stuff. Like I didn't make it for the purpose of marketing or for the purpose of anything other than can it be useful for me. So I think that's a really awesome way to start a project, and hopefully people see that that's genuine and honest.
Have you have you considered opening up like a beta of the tool for you or maybe your copy holders, people who hold your token?
Yeah, so first beta was a script for the copy trader. So like if people don't know, the reason why it's named copy token is because literally the only tool that I thought of releasing with Launchcoin was just literally the copy trader that would hijack Axiom, hijack Photon, and look at their wallet tracker and just immediately copy trade second for second. So we started there, and then I released the actual code. I released the scripts. I think there's 3 or 4 thousand lines of code in that user script that I just dropped, and plenty of people have it. But then, a lot of people were scared to download the script, and they're like, "Yo, are you gonna fucking drain me?" And it's like, that's a completely understandable thing, and I wasn't like thinking about that at all. I was just like, let me get this out there. I told them I'd ship, so I'm gonna ship. So then we packed it all into a Chrome extension, got approved as a Chrome dev. That was cool. So beta testing is available for that. But here where we get into like predictive modeling, custom data sets, etc., like that, that's a whole other kind of IP challenge. And to release a user script around that might not be so good as to benefiting our current holders. So right now I kind of toyed with the idea of do I release the Chrome extension that I've currently been using, or do I just fucking go for it and build it all into one AI trading terminal. So that's what I'm doing right now. And the beta will be releasing sometime in the next week for copy holders to beta test.
Dope. So that's exciting for copy holders to check that out.
For sure.
So tell me the story of launching your token on Believe. What was that like? Why'd you decide to do it? And then also, how did the launch go?
I tested it on my Docs account first. I was just like, fuck it, this is a thing. So let's see. No one knows that I trench on my Docs account. Um, like I've been involved in Web3 projects and that encompass budgets in millions of dollars in Web3 before, but that was with ETH. And now in Sol, no one knows that I even trench in Sol, like on a day-to-day basis. But I just said, fuck it. I'm like, let me launch a coin. And then it kind of just like, it did some numbers, but I'm like, okay, at least I feel like you'll actually get creator fees if you launch a whole company with this coin. So I'm like, okay. Then, I just made this undoxed account and I'm just like, I have these tools. I've been using them for myself. I feel like we could really kind of start a movement forward and just like not everybody using the same shit. How do we give these AI tools to people in the trenches? Especially because it's for trenchers by a trencher himself, and launch a coin with it, and then just kind of did it and started with 0 followers, started all over again, some followers on my other doxed account, and just started from 0, took everything I learned from that, and just, and then people came because they fuck with the technology. But yeah, it was cool. It was just like, it's kind of rocky right now in terms of the Believe creator fees, and obviously that's what's funding this project. Like, I'm trying to put a lot, like 80% of that money into just how do we fucking launch a terminal, because it's expensive. But
Yeah, it is
yeah,
expensive.
it was cool. It was easy. But yeah, I mean, just like there's problems in the process, and we're just trying to work through them right now.
Mm-hmm. How many fees have you received so far just in Solana? Do you know, like dollars worth?
Yeah, I think 6 or 7,000 right now in creator fees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I'm eyeing a domain that's $5,000. So it's like, fuck, we really need this domain, but I'm gonna try and lease it or something. And I'm meeting with a lot of VCs right now to try and help fund the project and make it as dope as possible.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So explain that to me, because I kind of thought this is like an either or. Like what?
Right.
Like you can't get VC funding and also have a Believe token, because typically the VCs want a significant portion of whatever token that eventually comes through.
Right.
Right. And so I'm kind of confused as to like how that would work for you. Like, what's your pitch to VCs if you can't offer them a significant supply of the token?
Well, I mean, I've been part of like a major DAO, and I obviously saw how they worked. Managing budgets or a treasury, Gnosis multi-wallet treasury of like 20 mil plus, and just like seeing how transparent they were with all the funds. And even when they hired me to creative direct certain projects, I feel like there's a lot of wiggle room here for like, it kind of just depends on the VC, man. It's just like, do they want a portion of the creator fees? It's probably not feasible. And a large portion of those should just go back to the project. And what do they want a percentage of? Maybe it's transaction fees from our platform. We're just having like all around discussions to see what's up. But I thought it was an either or thing too, until I realized that the Believe fees are not paid out on a schedule that I think creators would prefer. So you obviously might need like an alternate source of like funding. So that's what I'm exploring right now.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, the Solana portion of the fees get streamed constantly to your wallet, so you get those like every minute, basically. But your project fees, like your copy token, that doesn't come. We like some creators got a portion of it and some didn't. I don't know what the reasoning there is, but like your Solana fees, they get streamed to you, just in case you weren't aware. But that is an interesting point, that it's not necessarily either or, because you can kind of work with the VC to find a deal that works for both of you.
Right.
To me, one of the interesting things about internet capital markets is that I think the ideal end state of this is that we can share application revenues with token holders. Now that's kind of a controversial take, because it's actually like illegal in the US, because it makes you a security basically,
Right.
especially if you market it as like, hey, we're sharing revenue. That is like, that's not allowed. But there are some ways around it. And I'm wondering what your take is on that. Like, do you also see that as the ideal end state of internet capital markets? Or do you think there's a better way to integrate tokens that aren't like that they don't get revenue, but maybe they get something else?
Um, I think first and foremost, yeah, I think the most important thing is how do we reward holders and how do we reward users of our platform. Obviously, like you said, you do step into dangerous territory with, the securities allegations and shit like that. But I feel like, I mean, personally, I have a ton of features that I have planned to reward people. Um, I don't know if you want to hear about them or if you.
I do,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. So, um, there's one feature that I'm looking forward to releasing called Ghost, where basically a big problem with these platforms is that people don't know that they're being constantly front run by bots, right? Like if they know when you're going to submit a transaction, they can kind of just place theirs above yours in the block. Um, and it's happening more than people think. So I'd like to actually back run you by having an AI copy trade you if your P&L is consistently high enough. One of the tools I built, it's basically a wallet finder that takes the top wallets across Sol from like new trending tokens. Um, and it basically is able to do a couple things. It analyzes all of that wallet's activity and recommends settings for you to copy trade them to where you buy as soon as they buy, but you sell typically before they would sell, using a couple of different like math models. Another one is where I trained an AI to actually predict what they'll trade and how they'll trade and when they'll sell. So that's a new form of copy trading as well. But with Ghost, you could potentially earn more fees if you have a higher P&L, because if we can successfully copy trade you and back run you, then we'll give you a portion of whatever copy that we earned in doing so. So hopefully we'd use that as a way to motivate people to use our platform, but to also potentially earn way more than they could on any other platform if their P&L is consistently good enough.
That's super interesting.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a cool tool. I wonder how you'll implement that because the one danger I see is like when people are doing well for a while and then like they start sucking and then your back running bot is like losing money. I guess
Right.
that's the $100 question, $1 million question. That's for
Yeah.
you to figure out, and I'm sure you will. You seem like a really smart dude.
Thanks, man.
How have you been like? Have you felt satisfied with the Believe team, or are there things that you want them to do better?
Yeah, I mean, they're doing something really hard, which is building in public. And, coming from my doc self, I know and understand that that can be incredibly fucking stressful. You're doing it. I'm doing it right now, but I'm doing it anon, right? So it's not as, much pressure, obviously, when your face is there and there's cameras and, people are recording everything. Every little twitch on your face is fucking recorded for everybody to zoom in on, which is why I'm doing this anon now. But I feel like they're doing a good job in terms of building in front of the public, and what they're doing is great in terms of enabling internet capital markets, right? The fees have been not as transparent as like I could have wished or hoped for. I am in contact with their team, and we've had some talks about featuring possibly verification and also getting us those goddamn base tokens would be awesome. So I'm I had a conversation with them yesterday, and I'm just like, yo, we're trying to scale the company and we're releasing a whole AI trading terminal. We need the base tokens so that we can at least just try and fund some of this some kind of way. Um, but like for the most part, yeah, they're a great team building something awesome, and I just wish the fees were more transparent so we can fucking get back to building. But
Yeah. And you're speaking about the soul fees, right? When you say like the fees are not transparent.
yeah, both. I mean, there was that one time where everybody was talking about getting fees like literally every minute, like 0.001, every minute of the day, and then there's another point to where they just would send out five soul at once or maybe one. It's like I have no idea what's happening. I'm just gonna keep building though, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as I think maybe they did batched sending like at the very beginning. I'm not sure. I haven't looked that far back. But every wallet that I've looked at, I have a list of all the creator wallets on my website. Every wallet that I've looked at, they get the Sol rewards streamed to them from the pool directly. So whenever a transaction comes in, they get a portion of those Sol fees. And that's just like hard coded in there. So I don't really think that there's any like human error going on there. So I think everyone's getting the right amount of Sol fees. But the question is like, when are we going to get the base tokens? Right. Some of the projects got like a bunch of their base tokens airdropped to them like 10 days ago. But I think it depends on when you launched, if you got them or not. Like, do you know what date you launched your project?
I have no clue. I don't know if it's been a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Someone said 2 weeks ago yesterday. I'm like, oh, really? And I didn't even look.
For sure. Yeah, 2 weeks ago about was the day everything went insanely ballistic and like Launchcoin hit its all-time high. And like basically every Believe coin hit an all-time high on like May 13th. And that's when a lot of people were launching. And that's when it was like taking over the timeline. And projects that had launched then or before then, they definitely got their base token. But I don't know. It's also weird. It doesn't show up in the Believe app if you got your base token or not. You actually have to export your keys or look on like SolScan. But yeah, man, I agree with you. Like, I think they need more transparency and like, it's also really hard though. Like, I feel for Ben. I can't imagine being like that under the spotlight and having so many people like go after you and like wish horrible things for you. And I don't know.
Especially
it's difficult.
When you've enabled so much though. You know,
yeah,
he's given a lot to even give us this opportunity, which is amazing.
That's true. I feel like all the creators I've spoken with share that sentiment. Like they really appreciate what Ben has done, and they're really grateful for the opportunity because a lot of these people are just like Web2 devs who built a cool app and then launched a token and didn't really know what they were doing. But now they made over $100,000 in fees, and they're like, oh shit, I can I don't have to get a full-time job anytime in the near future. I can just use this to build my app for like 1 or 2 years. Like, this is awesome. And that's really special, and they're grateful for that. And there's a measured level of frustration because it's like a lot of these guys have raised a lot but also not gotten much support from the Believe team like directly, and they are sharing creator fees with the Believe team. So if you made 100K, you're also giving 100K to the Believe team. But again, it was all enabled from their launchpad. So I think everyone I've talked to is really grateful about that.
Right.
What are you most excited for in the upcoming, let's say 2 weeks, 3 weeks for Rainmaker?
We're going to drop the Rainmaker AI trading terminal.
Love it. I'm excited. I definitely want to give that a try. I've been meaning to do some trenching. I've seen some homies do really well in the trenches, and it looks like fun. Looks like a good time. So I'd like to give that a try.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Where is the best place that people can go to keep up with all your work?
For now, until we rebrand, I would say Rainey Dev 1776 on Twitter.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter. Word. I'll link your Twitter, and this will be posted, and I'll tag you.
Appreciate it, brother.
Rainey, it was great to have you here. Thanks for coming on the Dashcoin Research Podcast. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me, man, and wish you the best, bro.
Thank you.
Peace.